In the deep darkness of space, where stars looked like cold sparks floating in endless black, an old warship drifted silently. It had no signal, no crew, no heartbeat of life, only silence. Its name was Erebus, once the greatest human battleship ever built. Now forgotten by time, the ship floated near a dead system, a region no one dared to enter. Alien travelers whispered that ghosts lived there. The wreckage of the ancient human wars, they said, still haunted those stars. Most thought the stories were myths, old tales told to scare children of the new galaxy. But tonight something stirred inside that darkness. Deep within Erebus, a single light blinked to life, faint and lonely. It flickered once, then again, as if the ship was breathing after centuries of sleep. Long-dead systems began to hum. Tiny machines awakened and whispered across the halls. "System check. Complete." The voice of the ship's AI echoed softly. Dusty monitors came alive with golden light. The engines groaned, and the power cores pulsed with a heartbeat long forgotten. Far away, a small alien patrol ship picked up a strange energy signal. The pilot frowned. "This can't be right," he muttered. "Nothing lives in that sector." The scanner beeped again, stronger this time. "Commander, we found something," he said, his voice shaking. The commander leaned forward, squinting at the holographic map. "What kind of signal?" he asked. "Unknown, sir, but it's old, very old," came the reply. They laughed at first, thinking it was space junk, maybe some ancient wreck reacting to solar storms, but as they drew closer, their laughter faded. In front of them floated a giant of black steel, its hull covered with strange human markings, weapons cold and silent, but somehow still intact. The commander whispered, "Scan it." The sensors trembled, unable to read its full depth. "The armor is resisting the scan," the officer said quietly. Suddenly, the dark ship's engines flickered. The aliens froze. "Is it moving?" One shouted. The commander leaned closer to the screen, his eyes wide. "No, it's waking up." A deep vibration rolled through space, low and powerful, the kind that rattled the bones even inside the cockpit. The words appeared across their comm screen, glowing in old Terran language. "Human Warship Erebus. Online." Panic erupted inside the alien ship. "It's human tech," someone shouted. "But the humans are gone. They've been extinct for hundreds of years." The commander couldn't speak. He only watched as the Erebus slowly turned, its massive cannons rotating, the faint red glow of energy building deep inside its weapon cores. "Retreat!" the commander yelled, but it was too late. A beam of pure light cut through the void, silent, faster than thought. Their patrol ship vanished in a white flash. Not even dust remained. Nearby listening posts detected the explosion and went silent one by one. Hours later, a trader ship passing near the dead sector picked up a strange signal, an emergency broadcast from the destroyed patrol. The last words were filled with static and fear. "They're back. The humans. They're back." Across the galaxy, in the great halls of alien empires, alarms began to ring. Ancient warnings long buried were suddenly remembered. The Council of the Fourth Dominion met in panic. "Impossible," said one. "The humans destroyed themselves." Another argued. "No," whispered the elder. "They promised they would return if we ever forgot fear." Back in the void, Erebus floated silently again, its hull now glowing faintly with power. The AI voice spoke softly into the darkness. "Primary systems online, all crew deceased, searching memory cores." Holograms of long-dead humans flickered across the bridge, laughing, fighting, living, ghosts of a forgotten era. The AI paused, then said, "Captain Arlen Voss, my status, missing." A cryo chamber deep inside the ship hissed softly, frost melting on the glass. Inside lay a man, still as stone. Frozen in time, sensors detected movement in his fingers. A slow twitch, then another. "Life signs detected," the AI whispered. "Reactivating, Captain." The hum of ancient engines grew stronger. as if the ship itself was breathing again. The stars outside seemed to tremble. Across the galaxy, whispers spread faster than light. The humans had returned. In the capital of the Zathri Empire, an alien admiral stared at the incoming reports, his voice barely a whisper. If that ship is truly awake, then the legends were true. His aide asked quietly, "Should we engage it?" The admiral shook his head, his face pale. "Engage?" He said slowly, "No. We run." Out in the black, the Erebus adjusted its course, its sensors locking on distant stars. Somewhere deep in its memory, an old signal played, the voice of humanity itself. "This is Earth Command. If you hear this, you are not alone." The AI's lights flickered softly. "Mission restored," it said. "Objective: protect humanity." The engines roared, shaking the void around them, and for the first time in centuries, the galaxy felt the presence of fear again. From the ashes of history, from the silence of forgotten war, the human battleship Erebus had awakened. The corridors of Erebus were filled with soft light. The air recycled through ancient systems that had not worked for centuries. Dust floated like ghostly mist. The hum of the engines was low and steady, as if the ship itself was breathing. In the cryo chamber, the frost cracked again, tiny shards of ice falling to the floor. Captain Arlen Voss opened his eyes. He gasped for air. The world around him blurred. His breath came out like smoke, his muscles weak but alive. "Where am I?" he whispered, his voice dry and broken. "Welcome back, Captain," the AI said gently, its voice calm and steady. "You have been asleep for 312 years. Arlen froze, his heart pounding. 300 years, he repeated slowly. "Status report." The ship responded instantly. "All human colonies. Offline. Earth, the unknown fleet are destroyed, only Erebus remains operational." For a moment he stood silent, his eyes staring through the glass wall of the chamber, trying to remember the war, the fire, the chaos, humanity's last stand against the Galactic Alliance, and the final order he had given before the blackout. Protect humanity, at any cost. He staggered to the command deck, gripping the rail for balance, his uniform still faded from the old days. As he reached the bridge, holograms lit up around him, screens showing the star map, the surrounding systems, and a list of new alien signals. The AI's tone shifted slightly. "Multiple life forms detected nearby. They are observing us." Arlen smiled faintly. "Let them watch," he said. "Let them remember." The AI paused. "Captain, do you wish to attack?" He shook his head slowly. "No, not yet. We need information. I need to know what became of our people." "Understood," the ship replied, initiating long-range scans. In the distance, 3 alien reconnaissance ships hovered silently, their commanders whispering through static. "It's alive," one said. "The human relic is moving." Another answered. "Orders?" Their general's voice came cold through the line. "Observe, but do not engage." That ship destroyed a patrol fleet in seconds. Inside Erebus, the scanners reached out across light years, mapping empty systems and dead colonies. The captain's eyes followed the data streams. So much silence. He muttered, "We built so much, fought so hard, and they erased it all." The AI spoke softly. "Would you like to view the final log?" He hesitated, then nodded. The screen flickered, showing recordings of the last days of the human defense fleet. Fire everywhere. Voices shouting through static. "They're breaking through the line. This is Earth Command. Evacuation complete. God help us all." The recording ended with Arlen's own voice from centuries ago, calm but filled with sorrow. "If we fall, let our memory remain a warning to the stars." He closed his eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of ghosts pressing around him. "I gave that order," he said quietly, "and still, you obeyed it." "Yes, Captain," the AI replied. I never stopped. Outside, the galaxy trembled with rumors, alien broadcasts filled with panic, councils gathered in secret. "The human warship lives," one leader said. "We must unite before it awakens more of its kind." Another shouted, If they return, we are finished. But not all were afraid. In hidden corners of the stars, small human colonies, descendants of refugees, heard the signal from Erebus. They stared at the message repeating over and over. To all who still bear the mark of humanity, you are not forgotten. On the mining world of Delta 4, a boy looked up from his comms device, his eyes wide. Father, it's them. It's the old world, it's Earth. The man dropped his tools, staring in disbelief. After all these years, he whispered, the warship calls us home. Back aboard Erebus, Captain Arlen watched the faint responses lighting up across the map, signals from scattered human outposts, broken voices but filled with hope. He turned to the AI. Send acknowledgement. Begin coordination. The AI's lights pulsed brighter. Message sent, Captain. For the first time in centuries, humanity's voice echoed across the stars again. But the peace did not last. Deep in the central systems, the Galactic Council assembled. 12 alien species sat around a vast glowing table. We must stop this before it spreads, hissed the Zathri delegate. That ship is a symbol. If humans believe they can rise again, they will, another voice answered. Then we destroy it before that happens. Silence fell and the council agreed. Orders were given, fleets prepared, and a shadow of war began to move again. Meanwhile, in the dark bridge of Erebus, the AI spoke softly. Incoming transmission intercepted. Arlen looked up. From whom? The Galactic Alliance. He nodded slowly. So they remember us after all. His reflection glowed faintly on the glass, his eyes calm but filled with old fire. Prepare the ship, he said. We are not done reminding them who we are. Engines flared brighter. Shields shimmered, and in that moment, Erebus no longer looked like a relic, but a living storm across the stars. Frightened captains whispered prayers and historians wrote in silence. The echoes of humanity have begun to awaken. The galaxy had grown silent again, but it was not peace, it was fear. Every empire, every fleet, every commander waited for news about the ancient human warship, Erebus, that now moved through the void like a ghost with purpose. Alien intelligence networks burned with rumors. Some said it was a myth. Others whispered that entire patrols vanished near the human sector. None dared to verify, but all eyes were watching. In the command bridge of Erebus, Captain Arlen Voss stood tall, the faint blue light of screens painting shadows across his face. The AI's voice echoed softly. Captain, the Galactic Alliance has deployed a battle group, 1,000 ships. Heading directly toward us, Arlen smiled faintly. Of course they have, he said. They think they can bury us again. Orders? Asked the AI. He looked out into the endless dark. Let them make the first move. Hours passed. The enemy fleet appeared on sensors, a wall of metal and light stretching across half the sky. Their ships were new, sleek, powered by energy cores unknown to the old world. The lead vessel opened a communication channel. A voice filled the bridge. Unknown human ship. This is the Galactic Alliance command. Power down your weapons and surrender your core. Or we will destroy you, Arlen said nothing. His eyes calm, the AI waited silently, then he whispered. Record transmission. The system confirmed, and Arlen said softly, Humans don't surrender. The alien commander's voice rose with anger. You are outdated, your kind is extinct, he said. Your technology is obsolete. But before his words could fade, the sensors screamed, energy readings spiking across Erebus's hull. The AI's tone turned sharp. Captain, they are charging weapons. Brace for impact, he replied. 1,000 beams of plasma and ion fire crashed into Erebus, waves of light and energy shaking the void itself. But when the light faded, the human warship still floated untouched. The alien crew stared at their screens in disbelief. Impossible, one shouted. Their shields, they're absorbing everything. The commander roared, Increase power! But it was too late. Erebus had awakened fully. Its hull plates shifted, black armor unfolding like wings. Ancient human technology humming with deep red light. Arlen's voice was calm. Return fire. The AI obeyed instantly. Engaging human counteroffensive. The ship's main cannons charged. The void around them bending as gravitational fields twisted space. Then the guns fired, silent but devastating. A beam of compressed light cut through a line of alien cruisers. tearing them apart like paper. Ships vanished into vapor. Explosions spread across the stars. The shockwave echoed like thunder. The AI reported in monotone. 37 ships destroyed. 20 disabled. The alien fleet broke formation in panic, their generals shouting, "Fall back! It's a superweapon!" But Arlen wasn't done. "Target their command vessel," he said quietly. The AI locked on, and with one shot, the enemy flagship disintegrated into light, its debris scattering into space. "Enemy fleet retreating," the AI reported. "Transmission intercepted." Arlen nodded. "Play it," through static, a desperate alien voice cried. "This is Commander Shal of the Third Fleet. We are retreating. The human warship, it's unstoppable." The message ended with silence. Across the galaxy, the news spread faster than light. The Galactic Council went into chaos. "They destroyed 1,000 ships in minutes," shouted one leader. "No force can match that," another said. "Then we need more than force," the elder spoke softly. "We need fear." They began to create propaganda, claiming the Erebus was a machine gone mad. But fear works both ways. It made the galaxy tremble, and it made forgotten humans rise back on Erebus. Arlen stood in the command deck, watching the destruction drift away, his heart heavy but steady. "They forced our hand," he said. "But this is only the beginning." The AI's voice softened. "Captain, human beacons are responding. Over 50 colonies have received our call." He smiled faintly. "Then the galaxy will remember who we are." In the far sectors, small human ships hidden for centuries began to activate, their captains watching the sky with tears in their eyes. "The old warship fights again," they said. "Humanity stands once more." Even alien races who once fought the humans began to whisper respect. "They are monsters," said one, "but glorious monsters," but not everyone admired. In the secret core of the Galactic Council, a new plan was born. "If one ship can do this," said a dark figure, "then imagine what happens if they rebuild the fleet." "We cannot allow that," another agreed. "We end this before it begins," a new fleet was ordered. Massive and united, tens of thousands of ships from every empire, all with one purpose: to erase Erebus from existence. Meanwhile, Arlen walked the dark hallways of his ship, looking at the faded pictures of his old crew. Heroes long gone. He placed his hand on the cold metal wall, whispering, "We are not ghosts, we are legacy." The AI's lights dimmed respectfully. "Incoming signals detected, massive fleet approaching." He smiled coldly. "Let them come." Outside, stars flickered under the shadows of incoming warships, and in that darkness Erebus glowed brighter than ever. Its weapons ready, its spirit unbroken. The first strike was only the beginning. The galaxy had declared war again, but this time, humanity was not the hunted. They were the storm. The galaxy burned with fear. Every empire, every species, every council chamber echoed with one name: Erebus, the human warship that refused to die. The images of its destruction spread through the star networks. Ships vanishing in seconds, entire fleets crushed under human firepower. No one could deny it anymore. Humanity's ghost had returned. In the capital world of the Galactic Council, the sky glowed red with the light of thousands of ships gathering in orbit. Alien leaders screamed at each other across long tables. "We must destroy it now," shouted the Drow Chancellor, his silver skin trembling. "Before it calls more of its kind." "It's a relic," argued another. "If we leave it alone, it will fade again," a third voice hissed. "Did you not see the footage? 1,000 ships gone in one battle. If that is a relic, what is power?" The council chamber fell silent. The elder of the Zathri stood, his voice calm but filled with dread. "We made a mistake long ago when we thought the humans were finished. We forgot what fear feels like, now it returns to teach us again." With that, the council signed a new order, the creation of the Grand Alliance Fleet, the largest armada in recorded history, 37 species joining forces, over 20 million warships. Their purpose was clear: to hunt and destroy the last human warship. Meanwhile, in the cold void, Erebus drifted through the wreckage of its last battle, the remains of alien ships floating like ashes in the dark. Captain Arlen Voss stood at the bridge window, his reflection faint against the stars. "How long until they come?" he asked quietly. The AI answered. "Sensor readings suggest massive movements across multiple sectors. Estimated arrival in 3 standard days," Arlen nodded. "So the galaxy finally unites." "Yes, Captain," the AI said softly. Fear is the greatest alliance. He turned and looked at the old banner hanging beside the command chair, faded and torn. The flag of Earth. Once it had flown over countless worlds. Now it hung in silence, but its colors still carried weight. Arlen's voice dropped low. Do you know why they fear us? The AI paused. Because we fight. He shook his head slowly. Because we remember, and we never stop. In the outer sectors, small human colonies continued to awaken, their signals lighting up across the star map like sparks. The descendants of the lost survivors were answering the call. Tiny ships, mining crafts, even cargo haulers, all sending the same message: humanity endures. Some aliens watched in silence, torn between terror and admiration. On the world of Talra, an alien historian spoke to his students. I have studied every species in this galaxy, he said, and none fight like humans. They fight not to win, but to remind the universe that they lived. He looked up at the stars, whispering, maybe they deserve to be feared. Back aboard Erebus. Alarms blinked softly. Captain, the AI said. Alliance ships entering local space. How many? Arlen asked. Too many to count, the AI replied. Their numbers fill the horizon. Arlen smiled faintly. Then we are exactly where we need to be. The first wave of enemy ships arrived like a tidal storm, their lights filling the dark, forming a wall of steel and plasma. Across the alien fleet, orders rang out, no mercy, destroy that monster. But even with all their power, they hesitated, their fingers trembling over the fire controls. Because deep inside, every soldier, every captain, remembered the stories of the ancient wars when humans stood alone against entire armadas and still refused to die. On Erebus's bridge, the AI displayed the full image of the incoming fleet, a sea of blinking lights stretching to infinity. Impressive, Arlen said softly. They finally learned unity. Orders? The AI asked again. Hold fire, Arlen replied. Let them see us, he stepped forward, sending an open transmission on every frequency, his voice calm and human. This is Captain Arlen Voss of the United Terran Fleet, he said. We do not come to conquer. We come to remind you that humanity still exists. The galaxy heard those words, every ship, every commander, every soldier. Some laughed in anger, others froze in silence, but none could ignore the voice of the man who spoke for ghosts. Then, without warning, the Alliance fired first. Millions of plasma blasts streaked across the void, lighting up the blackness like a new dawn. The first wave slammed into Erebus. The ship shook, but it did not break. Its armor glowed red-hot, ancient shields bending but holding strong. The AI spoke quickly. Shields at 70%, return fire, Arlen commanded. The dark ship roared, cannons opening like the mouths of gods. Beams of pure light tore through the ranks of the Alliance. Hundreds of ships vanished in seconds, explosions blossoming like dying suns. The battle became chaos, the stars filled with fire, screams, and static. The AI reported in cold precision, casualties heavy on both sides, unknown number of survivors. Arlen's voice was calm. Keep firing. Remind them what happens when they hunt humans. Hours passed, and the void was filled with wreckage still. The Alliance came, endless waves of ships sacrificing themselves in blind fear. On the Council homeworld, the alien leaders watched the live feed in horror. We threw everything we have, one said, and it still stands, another whispered. It's not a ship, it's a will. Back on Erebus, flames danced inside the broken hallways. Damaged panels sparked, yet the AI still functioned. Its voice steady, critical system stable. Captain? Arlen looked around the battered bridge, his expression hard but proud. Good, then we hold the line. He stared at the stars, his voice dropping to a whisper. Let the galaxy know. Humanity does not bow. And as the fires faded, the void grew silent again. The Alliance fleet was broken, but far from defeated, they would return with more. Stronger, larger. But for now, in the ruins of battle, one truth echoed across the stars. The Alliance feared humanity again, and fear was only the beginning. The smoke of battle still drifted across the stars. Broken ships floated like shattered bones in a grave of light. Engines burned quietly as the last echoes of explosions faded into the endless void. The Erebus hung in silence, its black armor scarred, its lights dim but alive. The last beating heart of a forgotten species inside the command bridge. Captain Arlen Voss stood surrounded by sparks and shadow, his uniform torn, blood running from a cut on his cheek, yet his eyes still burned with that same quiet fire. "Status?" he asked, his voice calm. The AI answered softly. "Power at 40%. Weapons offline, shields recharging, enemy fleet reorganizing at extreme range." Arlen smiled faintly. "So they still want another round?" "Yes, Captain," said the AI. "But they are hesitating." He turned toward the vast window, where millions of enemy lights shimmered in the distance, a sea of stars and warships ready to finish the job. "They think we are weak," he said. "They forget who we are." He placed his hand on the cold glass, whispering, "Let's remind them." The AI hesitated for the first time. "Captain, the judgment array remains unstable. Activation may destroy us," Arlen's voice was steady. "It was never about survival, it's about the message." He looked up, his tone soft but sharp like a blade. "Prepare the array." In the darkness of the ship's core, massive reactors awakened, red light crawling through the halls like veins of living fire. Every system screamed warnings. Overload detected, containment failure imminent, but Erebus did not stop. Outside, the enemy fleet began to move again, their commanders shouting orders, "Fire everything, now!" Beams of light, torpedoes, and plasma waves poured toward the Erebus. The universe itself turned white with fury. But inside the storm, the human warship opened its wings, armor plates shifting, energy pulsing like the heartbeat of a dying god. "Judgment array online," the AI said. Awaiting command, Arlen took a deep breath. "Fire." The stars went silent. A single beam of white light erupted from Erebus, brighter than suns, faster than thought. It tore through the void, through space, through fleets, through worlds. And then there was nothing but silence. The explosion expanded across systems, wiping out every ship within light minutes. When the light faded, there was no sound, only drifting debris, floating slowly like snow. Back on the bridge, the lights flickered. Smoke filled the air. The AI's voice grew faint. "Captain, systems failing." But the transmission succeeded. Arlen nodded slowly. "Good. Then they'll remember." He looked down at the old Earth flag on his arm, worn and blackened, his voice barely a whisper. "We were never gods, just humans who refused to kneel." Across the galaxy, billions watched the broadcast. Every world received the same message, a simple human voice, calm and steady, echoing through the stars. "This is Captain Arlen Voss. United Terran Fleet, humanity is not extinct. We are eternal." Then the signal cut off. For hours, no one spoke. Entire empires held their breath. And then something strange happened. From the smallest mining colony to the richest core world, ships powered down their weapons. The war ended not with surrender, but with silence. In the halls of the Galactic Council, the leaders watched the feed in disbelief. The Zathri elder spoke first. "They could have destroyed us all." "Yet they stopped," another whispered. "Why?" The elder answered quietly, "Because they already won." Weeks passed, and the wreck of Erebus drifted slowly through the silent stars. No signals, no power. Yet every ship that passed by lowered its engines. Even alien warships dimmed their lights as a sign of respect. No one dared touch it. No one dared claim it. It became a monument, a symbol of what fear could become when mixed with courage. In time, humans from the hidden colonies came, small ships landing gently on the surface of their fallen titan. They built outposts around it, lit beacons again, and whispered the old vow. For those who came before, for those who still fight, humanity endures. Far beyond, the Galactic Council issued a new decree. No species shall harm or hunt the children of Earth again. It was not kindness, it was survival. Legends spread quickly. Children of other worlds began to dream of humans as warriors made of iron and fire. Songs were written, murals painted, even the oldest races told their young ones, "Be careful when you look into the dark, for that is where the humans sleep." And deep inside the ruined Erebus, a faint blue light blinked once, then twice. The AI's voice whispered in the dark. "System repair at 1%. Captain Arlen Voss and memory preserved." Silence followed. Then the soft hum of power returned. The ship's engines flickered weakly, and for the first time since the battle, its sensors turned toward the distant stars. The galaxy thought it had witnessed the end. But Erebus was not a tomb, it was a promise, and somewhere, in the quiet corners of the void, a new generation of humans heard that promise and answered. The legend of the human warship would never fade. Because on that day the galaxy did not just see power, it witnessed will, and from that moment forward, Every world remembered the truth. The day the galaxy knelt was the day humanity rose again.